been looking on these little journeys for some wild coffee beans. Was it you who told me?
No.
There could potentially be wild coffee growing here. It's odd, and it must be a strange variety, but they saw one in Nassau, and so there could be wild ones here. All right, next we're gonna head down towards Bannerman Town and see what we find down there. Yep, there's that long road. This is when you first come into Bannerman Town. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot here in Bannerman Town. I would assume if you live in Bannerman Town, you have something to do with wholesale retail liquor store. Whoa. Really? What kind of business they'd be doing. But I would imagine you have something to do with the Princess Cruise thing. That would be my guess.
Cell phone service.
Yeah, cell phone should be good right here. Okay, this building coming up is Princess Keys. And that's where the big cruise boat comes in. I don't remember that sign there before. Nope. Okay, this is the back way, or one of the ways, into Lighthouse Point. And as you can see, these are the buses from Island School. They might make it, but nothing like wearing the kids out, so you can have them hike up that 5 or 6 mile road, and then go swimming, and then hike back down the 5 or 6 mile road, and maybe they won't get into trouble tonight.
This isn't Crete, huh? This is sand.
It's just this section. We've been down this road before.
Oh, this is where the cemetery is.
Yeah, this is where the old slave cemetery is. But I think this is as far as we got last time, unless they did something more. Let's see. Okay, no, we can get through. Well, we're not going to go any farther because right up there looks like really soft sand. We don't have four-wheel drive. I don't feel like getting stuck. But if you were to stop here and walk the rest of the way, at the end of this, there, I don't know if it's still there, the last time we were there, there's an old slave cemetery there. But it was like right on the edge of the sea at that point. I'm sure they didn't do it that way, but that's how much erosion has happened. So it may not even be there anymore. We've never been down here before either. So I don't know if this actually goes someplace, or, I mean, it looks like it's traveled, but I suppose we'll find out again. So the road sort of goes that way, and somebody, oh, turn around, no, we don't want to go down there.
Those are trees.
Those aren't trees, those are just little bushes. You could go through those easy. We'll go back. Yeah, not every road goes to a beautiful beach that you haven't found before. Some of them are just roads. Actually, I just remembered that road. That road, remember when we were going to do the fishing operation?
Yeah.
That's the road. We were going to lease all that land.
Oh.
That's why I remember that.
All right.
Yeah. That's where we were going to put, on that side, you know, where Princess Keys come in, is deep water. And we were at one time, it's a long story, the short version is, we were going to get into fish farming with a couple other people. And we had pretty much most of it lined up. Could have worked, but the person who was the backer ended up not going through with it, so that was the end of that. But we were going to lease that land down there, so we would pump in salt water, out of the ocean for the, you know, the smaller ones, and then we were going to put out in the sea was going to be these like big giant diamonds that the fish would be in as they grew and matured, and then they'd be harvested from there. So that's why I remember that road. Yeah, that's where we were going to lease it and put the facility down there. In case you haven't figured out by now, I've done or tried to do a lot of different things down here. And, you know, the sad fact of it is that most of the time there's either too many problems, something comes up, somebody backs out, some kind of change happens, just doesn't work out. And it's been that way for not only me, but probably generations of people. This is the road. You go right in where the playground is in Bannermantown. This road takes you to, I think it's called Bannermantown Beach. It's not a great beach, and I've been here before. At the end of it is a cemetery, which, if you remember that video, when I was down here, they had just buried somebody not that long ago. Hitchhiker. Grasshopper.
Oh no, that's not a nice beach.
Yeah. No, it's not a nice beach at all. It's a little better at low tide. The tide's high right now, but no, it's not a great beach by any stretch of the imagination. So you can see it's not much of a beach at all. Relatively protected, but there's not much to it. Although, didn't we find some good... no? It wasn't here? No. So, for those people who think, you know, up in Governors is too crowded and it's too busy and all that kind of stuff, it's getting too overpopulated, you could always move to Bannermantown and join the other 25 people who live here, and probably have very quiet days, other than when you had to go to Rock Sound to get food and other supplies. Although they have that wholesale retail liquor store back there.
Look at all these.
I think this is it, because this doesn't go to a beach. This goes to Lighthouse Point and stay up. There's going to be a point up ahead where, unless maybe there's someplace up here. We'll see. Huh. I was just down here maybe 5-6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks ago, and this wasn't here. I mean, this did not exist. So where does this go to? Huh. Very interesting. It's like a little super highway. What this wasn't here before. Somebody's done an amazing amount of work on this. So, because, like I said, it couldn't have been more than 6-8 weeks ago. I was down here, and this, as far as I know, wasn't here. So somebody's planning something. Because there's all these roads put in.
Nice roads too.
Yeah, nice roads. So, is it gonna be houses or?
You could have a little village up here.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. If that's what's sort of going on, because the way these roads are laid out, it looks more like it would be, you know, houses on each side. You'd have waterfront. You'd have in the middle ones. Very interesting. Lighthouse Point is even farther that way, so it's around that farthest corner and then some. So remember where we were before? there's that big rock right out there. I hope it comes out. So we were farther north. This is one of those interesting ones. So while everybody's busy with Disney and blah 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 with Lighthouse Point, I mean, we're quite a ways from Lighthouse Point, but still, I haven't heard anything about this project. So I guess they got it all approved. Roads in. Next there should be electric coming down, and then they'll start. I mean, absolutely gorgeous site. So I don't know who's building it, but I mean, I just think it's probably going to be houses or something. Maybe there's going to be oceanfront homes, and then in the middle section there'll be other ones.
Condominiums.
Hmm.
2 condominiums.
No. Why does? Where did you get this information?
From the agricultural department.
Oh, okay. Condominiums. Okay. And the funny part with this one, this is, like I said, it's way down from Lighthouse Point, but it's that same side, Atlantic side on the beach, which I haven't walked that far. And now if you look up ahead, there's like a road cut going the other way. And I've seen some other roads. So I don't know who's doing all this. Let's go a little further. Is this part of the Disney thing? I didn't think they came this far out, but maybe they did. I just didn't think 700 acres came this far. It's here, and I remember this is part of that Teen Scenes camp, and it must be over there. So I can't imagine that back there has anything to do with Disney. And here's the bulldozer doing some more work. So this time, instead of going back by Cotton Bay, we're going to go straight at that intersection, and then we'll come out in Greencastle. Dive shop, okay. That's a serious wall. So this comes out over here. Clothing boutique tent type thing. The Club 9000. Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm going to head to Rock Sound, and I'm going to stop at the supermarket and pick up a bag of what are those, ginger mints. And get a whole bag. It lasts my mother a long time. So that's, I think, next on the list, unless we get detoured someplace else. But I couldn't do any real droning. Even when I put up the drone, that one, I was sort of overdoing it. I kept getting strong wind warnings, and when I was at one point flying backwards, I didn't know if I was doing something wrong, because the thing was barely moving coming backwards because it was fighting the wind so much. So I don't think there'll be any more drone stuff tonight. Okay, so just running into the market here, and hopefully she's going to get those ginger mints, and she said she wanted to look for a vegetable, so I said, I don't really need to go in. just about back home. I don't think we've got anything else. You've got to make a stop down the street.
Yeah.
And, other than that, not much else is really happening for this Saturday, other than processing all of this video that I took today.